Yep. Nice and easy. We're done with that though. Jump rope. Yeah. Whenever I skip rope, I can't use these wireless headphones. They fall right out of my ears. So of course, it would be helpful if I could get the rope itself not to fall out of my hands. Finish my protein shake and then we'll hit this. New name, who this? Yes, sir. For those of you who don't know me, my name is BullMuscle. For those of you who know me as Beer Battered Ag, yes, I'm going through a rebrand. This seems like a pretty good time to talk about that, so let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm a diehard Aggie.
The eyes of Texas are upon you. That is the song they sing so well. Sounds like hell! So goodbye to Texas University. We're gonna beat you all to chiggeroo-garem, rough, tough, real stuff, Texas A&M. Goodbye.
We get a little bit more all. So why can't I click all? Oh, yeah, there it goes. Nice. Alright, let's do one more bronze bar. If you adopt the mindset, and this is a quote from Jacob Fisker of Early Retirement Extreme, if you know that guy. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Today is Sunday. It is our rest day. I was thinking about going out and doing boxing today and just decided that probably wasn't the best idea since I'm going to be doing, now that Ultimate Frisbee season is over, I'm going to be back to the 5-day-a-week workout regimen with rest breaks on Thursdays and Sundays. And I get that, well, why now, Bull, why would you schedule? I guess I shouldn't be saying this with only 2 people in here. I'll explain sort of what the deal with today's stream is as people start filing in. Oh, anywho, it's like, okay, so there's loads of soreness, shoulders and chest. See how they're feeling. Buys are feeling pretty good. Yeah, traps are a bit sore. Yeah, lats are a little sore too. Try bent over row. Yeah, okay, so we got some soreness. So definitely need to take it easy today. Today should be a rest day. It's like the Trojans found the Snickers bars at HT versus San Jose State. Yeah, absolutely. Bougie Bones, what do you do for your chest workout? I'm guessing that means you weren't here Friday morning because you'd have seen it. Typically, the answer is I'll do roughly 30 sets of 10 sets apiece for I do a push-pull leg split, so that's chest, that's triceps, and that's shoulders, so delts, front delts mostly. For chest, usually this is going to consist of at least a couple big compound workouts. Think, bench press, shoulder press, tricep, like close bench press or JM press, triceps extensions, then a lot of the more auxiliary exercises, chest flies, incline or decline, front raises, side raises. Arnold presses is one of the ones I've really started liking with the dumbbells, and you rotate as you go up, and oh, I can feel that. Okay, yeah, my shoulders are definitely still sore. That's good for me to know. So we got a Dodger on the couch doing her thing. That's right. Yep. I think she's live tonight for another fantasy football draft stream. Yeah. I will try to refrain from quite so many shenanigans this time. But, Anyway, so where does that leave us for today? Well, it does mean that today is a rest day. Instead of, again, going out and hitting the wall bag, which, given that I'm going to ramp back up to 5 days a week, seems a bit inadvisable, I would be better off taking it a bit easier and doing some cooking. What I originally wanted to do today, that unfortunately I'm not going to be able to do, is I originally wanted to make my wine. This is a giant bowl of grapes. I have a second one sitting there. They are South Carolina Scuppernong grapes. It's a CFB fantasy football draft bowl. She might draft some Aggies. I do not care. I'm also going to be in this fantasy draft. Now, it is a well-known fact about me that I hate college football, I hate fantasy football. Unfortunately, the league I got roped into, they said they couldn't find anybody else. They needed a 10th man at the last minute. Sound familiar? How does this keep happening to me every year? Anyway, here's the other bowl, just in case you were curious. Bunch of different Scuppernongs in there. So I was going to crush them down and make wine live on stream today. Unfortunately, the yeast I was going to use for this, I have not been able to locate. So I could sit here and try and find it on time for you, but I'm not sure y'all want to sit here and watch me rummage through things in my house. That's probably not particularly entertaining to you, the viewer. But that's why I was, I'm explaining, hey, this is what we were originally going to say, what we're going to do. Whatever you say, Lucy. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it any more clear. I hate fantasy football. I think it's dumb. And I really hate it when people talk to me about their fantasy football teams. I don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody's interested in hearing the trials and tribulations of your imaginary game based on statistics. That's what it is. Anywho. So where does that leave us for today? Hey, CHQ11, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. I appreciate that. Where does that leave us for today? Well, since I really do need to take it a bit easier and rest today, and also since I don't have the yeast to make the wine, I've kind of had to go for a plan C today. So what does that mean? Well, hey, thank you very much for the lurk. I still appreciate the follow. That means a lot, man. Every follow counts. Lurk away. Sandoval Christian, good to see you. And PDX, welcome on in. How am I feeling? I'm pretty sore. Yesterday's workout and Friday's workout definitely got pretty much everything above the belt. Feeling pretty sore. Legs feel good. Yeah, but I will be doing a leg workout tomorrow. So, I was referencing the episode of I Love Lucy where she works at a pressing factory and smashes grapes with her feet. That's funny because that's how I'm going to do it for mine. It's funny that people say, oh, why would you crush grapes with your feet? And it's like, that's how we've been making wine for 6,000 years. I mean, there are still extremely high-end vintners that require their grapes to be, pressed into wine that way. For whatever reason, they seem to think it's better. I do it because I don't really feel like going and buying some fancy tool that won't do the job any better. What would the point of that be? So I'm feeling a bit sore, so that's why we're kind of doing a little bit of the rest day interesting miscellaneous stuff. So if plan A was for me to work out, but I'm sore and need a rest day, and plan B was for me to make wine, but I don't have the yeast required, even though I've got the grapes right here. Go ahead and show those off for the people who just showed up. They're Carolina Scuppernong grapes. They grow naturally around here. Since I can't do either of those things, what was plan C? Well, plan C, I was thinking maybe I could do a little bit of cooking for y'all. First, I was going to do my abs, my normal standard routine, and then we're going to head over to the kitchen and cook. Because the important thing, right, we talk about, how to get in good shape. And that, of course, means lifting weights if you want to build muscle. But if you want to keep all that muscle on your body without having a shit ton of fat around you, you got to be intelligent in the kitchen. You got to know what you're doing. So we'll talk about that. Today's gonna address a little bit more of the diet side when I say diet and exercise. That should be about it as far as explaining what I'm gonna do, so we'll go ahead and get into it. First off, I need to move the mic. There we are. But yeah, if you've never, I will say, it's kind of a fun experience for the first time if you've never crushed wine with your feet. Oh, my mic just dropped. There we go. Okay. That'll do. We're gonna lower the camera. Perfect. D Kooks, good to see you. Today is August 27th. That is an odd day, so we are going to go for that'll be reps. So we're going to do reps first. Then we're going to hit raised leg sit-ups, bicycle sit-ups, V-sits, and Russian twists. Once we're done with that, I may do a few push-ups, although my chest is feeling so sore, I may decide probably not a good idea. And then we're gonna go for some cooking. All right, so we'll get started on that. You shouldn't be getting that many ads, by the way, because I run the minimum Twitch allows me to, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I run 30 seconds an hour. I cannot actually, Twitch does not allow me to run fewer ads than I do. There's nothing I can do about that. All right, first one, we'll do jackknives. Okay. There we go. So these are really simple ab exercises that any of y'all can do. You can do them at home. You can do them at work. You can, you can slip them in your day as you see fit. These are the hardest ones. You may not be able to do 60 reps the way I do in one set immediately, but the more you do these, the easier they become. So let's begin. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Up. Ooh, all right, that's one set. 4 to go. Down from 400 to 375. Hey, that's good progress. Keep it up. Financial independence is something I need. When I'm manic, I'm not financially independent. Just watch for a little bit. Independence from my mind. Let's see. Totally different sport, but yeah, dude, the Mariners have been on a really hot streak. For what it's worth, my Nationals have been playing pretty good ball too. It's nice. We're finally out of the basement in the NL East. Well, if you're looking for positivity on the stream, this is the place to come and get it. apologize for the ad. Again, I can only run 30 seconds an hour as the minimum. I can't run fewer ads than I already do. Twitch doesn't allow me to. And I don't blame Twitch for that. They need to get their cut too. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense to them to allow me to be on the platform. I get it. It is a business. You're sporting quite the farmer's tan at the moment. I sure am, SM. And that's by no mistake. So, I'll talk about this briefly. So the last few weeks I was up in the state of Washington. I was up visiting family and went and hiked Mount Baker. Figuring rather foolishly that it being the Pacific Northwest, the sun would not be that intense, I failed to calculate that the elevation would in fact intensify the levels of UV I was going to get, and as a result I got quite the tan and a little bit of a sunburn out while I was hiking. I normally do have a pretty bad farmer's tan because I spend a lot of time outside and I usually wear a t-shirt and shorts, so it's somewhat natural that this occurs, but probably looks a lot more exaggerated than normal right now. So yeah. You about to pass we're tied. Our record, I believe, is the same with the $200 or $300 million disappointment in San Diego. Walking around with a lot of shade too. Well, the thing is, so I was hiking up Mount Baker. Eventually you hit the tree line, and at the tree line, the shade kind of goes away. It's like some of the places where you get the most likelihood to get sunburned aren't necessarily the hottest places. For instance, you're less likely to get sunburned in Georgia, South Carolina, or Florida than you are in New Mexico, Arizona, or El Paso. Well, why is this? It's because those places are at elevation. When you're at elevation, you're much more prone to getting excess UV radiation, which causes a sunburn. But yeah, nature's definitely pretty great. Do you mind if I link my stream on your server? I should have a self-promo channel. So if you're going to post it, please don't post it anywhere else. Use the self-promo channel. That's what it's there for. Anywho, I've got a few more sets left. Let's go ahead and knock out another. We'll do raised leg sit-ups. And again, the nice thing about these exercises is that you can do them with no equipment. I mean, it's a pain if you're doing it on a hardwood floor, but honestly, just take a shirt and put it beneath you. You can use that as a pad. I have this nice little mat. I forget when I got it or where or how, but it's quite nice. It gets the job done. It's just big enough to be useful for these exercises and just small enough to be movable. So here we go. Try to keep your legs as straight as possible. All right, that's 2 sets. I'll try these in my man cave. It's a good option. Obsessed is what we call the lazy, call the dedicated. Yeah, I mean, one could argue I certainly have an obsession with diet and fitness, but I would call it more dedication. 3 more sets to go. For those of you who hadn't seen this earlier, I think SMPDX, you mentioned, or no, it wasn't you, it was someone else mentioned it. Again, the original plan today, I'll show off the other bowl. I was gonna make wine. These are one of my bowls of grapes. Unfortunately, I can't find the yeast, so I'm gonna have to keep hunting for that. And maybe when I start making the wine, I'll do that on Discord. Might have to do it that way. We'll find out. But yeah, if you've never tried making homemade wine, at least around here it's very easy to do because we have grapes growing everywhere. Peer support, music, and wrestling. Don't be obsessed with peer support. Okay, so one thing that's important here to remember is that you have to be, it's important, you know, peer support is important, but at the same time, you can't seek others for validation. If you do that, you're externalizing the locus of your control, and that's not healthy. So it's important to, I suppose as anything else, there's a balance point, there's a fine line. I certainly wouldn't make attaining the support of others an obsession, because that's ultimately something you can't control. Whereas your own fitness, those very much are things you can control, and therefore easier to get a little bit more dedicated to. I'm actually going to take my shirt here and put it behind as a pad for myself, because it makes farting noises if I don't, and that kind of gets distracting. I don't like it. Two more sets. This is free advice, Cloud Came, in my opinion, plus it. Oh, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Teams trending down. The Guardians are free falling. You know, who else has been free falling? The Yankees. I mean, it was so bad, Tree made a video on it. Did y'all see that? I'd like to think my Nationals helped just a little bit in that regard. I appreciate that. These are just your basic Russian twists. These are very good for working your obliques. You can do this with a weighted object in your hands. I choose not to and go for more reps. Alright, one more set, and then we're going to head over into the kitchen. And we'll start the diet section of this. Normally, again, usually lift a lot more, and we cover the fitness section of health and fitness. Today it's going to be a bit more the health section of health and fitness. And that's just as important too, because, for instance, right, there's an old saying called abs are made in the kitchen. It's very much true. How many calories you put in and the types of calories you're putting in is going to determine how much body fat you retain. How hard you work in the gym is going to determine how much muscle you have on your body, as well as how much protein you're putting in. So your obliques, they're right on this side, right on this side. They're sort of your side abs, for lack of a better term. You can also do side planks. I do those on even days. For those of you who were on my stream yesterday, you'll have seen them. That'll do it. Okay. What's up? You just put all my eggs in the mental health basket. Well, mental health is important, but health is, you have to treat health holistically because it's all intertwined. For instance, if you have issues, we got a follow. Thank you very much. I don't know how to say that. Gurney. Is that Gurney Gurney, I'm gonna say that. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. So it's important to take a look at health holistically. What do I mean by that? Well, for instance, you're gonna have trouble with mental health if, due to your physical health, you have trouble walking around and moving and being independent on your own. They're linked. Similarly, it's been shown that exercise and good diet often can help not cure, but alleviate the symptoms of depression. It's a positive feedback loop, and it can also be a negative feedback loop. Take the idea of drug addiction. What do most hard drugs do in particular? Or soft drugs, alcohol, tobacco. What do those kinds of drugs do? Well, if you think about it, they damage both your body, right? If it's alcohol, it's going to do liver damage. If it's tobacco, lung damage and throat damage and quite a few other things. But it's also going to damage your mental health. You're going to get addicted to it. You're going to feel withdrawals if you don't have it, for instance. So the point here is that physical and mental health, they're intertwined and they can't be unseparated. So you got to try and take care of both, and that requires a few different things. It requires good diet. It requires good exercise. It does require not being completely isolated. It does require decent sleep. It requires having a healthy set of hobbies. It requires having respect for yourself. All of these different things blend together, and that's how you get good health. That's why good health is very hard to quantify or qualify, really. Was 405 at my worst? I think the 405 is not a healthy weight for anyone. I assume you're talking in pounds, although 4 or 5 kilos is a lot worse. The 405, you're probably needing to shed some pounds. It sounds like you've come down to 375. That's a very good start. Definitely continue. You've got room to run. I would say if you're looking for personalized or tailored advice, I can do that for you on the Discord. But to put it briefly, what you should do is get yourself an old-fashioned pencil and paper journal, just as I do, and everything that goes into my mouth, everything. I write down the calories, the protein, the fat, and the carbs. Total it all up at the end of the day. I see how close that matches my targets. If you're looking to figure out, oh, well, what should my targets be, I can absolutely help you with that. Although, I believe that means it is now time to head to the kitchen. I'm gonna start running. I would stick to walking for now. If you're, you're gonna say start doing a spreadsheet. So a spreadsheet, yeah, by all means, you can do it on a phone app, spreadsheet. There are loads of apps and such that make it very easy. Due to the nature of my day job, I have to use pencil and paper. I have to be old-fashioned with it because I don't have access to electronics at my workplace. So if I'm trying to eat, something at my desk while I'm working, I need to have some way to record that. And the only way to do it, old-fashioned pencil and paper. SMPDX is right. So I don't tend to talk about it very much. I am bi, but it's just, I don't like letting my sexual orientation define me. I was actually talking about this on another server yesterday afternoon. It was the Scandinavian World Comic server. They are a good group of fellas, but I think what matters a lot less than who you like or what gender, if indeed you want to define gender as a social construct. I'm not getting into those waters. It matters a lot less as to what gender identity you have or who you like or who you're attracted to than what kind of person you are on the inside. Are you kind to people? Do you have a positive outlook on life? Do you help others get on their way? Are you giving good advice to people? Do you try to give back to your community? Things like that. Do you respect yourself? Do you respect others? Money Badger, why can't you make kicks? Who's the Money Badger anyway? I do appreciate that. And yeah, it's totally okay to call someone, even if you're a straight guy, yeah, you can call someone handsome, but like that, it doesn't matter. Let's move on from that. That's not really a conversation I like to talk about anyway. Let's get to the diet and exercise section of things. And to do that, or rather the diet section of things, and to do that, we are going to take my notebook, so the way I'm going to do this, what I do, this being a Sunday, I have my work week ahead, right? I'm sure most of you also have your work week ahead. I'm straight as is Bull. No, I'm bi, but that's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna meal prep. The reason you meal prep on a Sunday is traditionally because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you work a 5/8, I work 4/10, so it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for me. I'm too busy at work and keeping things, at a relatively low level of chaos in my life to constantly worry about making giant elaborate meals. However, on Sunday, this is my opportunity to do that. So I'm going to do that. Work a 3-day. That's good. Okay. So I need to, before I go any further, I really need to figure out a better way to organize this mic in terms of cable management. That's something I need to do better at, but not the worst issue in the world right now, I suspect. Gonna just do one thing real quick on that. There we go. That's a lot better. It's a lot, manager. It was backhanded as of telling me to, oh, no. I don't think that was the intent, but I appreciate both compliments from both of you. Let's remain positive. All right. So here we go. Sorry about that if that's how you felt, SMPDX. I wasn't trying to be backhanded. Let's move on. Alrighty. Have a good stream. Well, all right. Apologize. I didn't mean to offend. If there's something I did, my apologies. Let's go ahead and get started on the cooking stream. So, need to move a couple things out of the way. All right. Need to move. Measuring cups over here. Got my canned tomato products. Gonna move the rice cooker out of the way as well. All right, that'll do. So, what are we gonna make today? Well, what we're gonna start with today is we're going to make ourselves a basic little red marinara style Italian pasta dish. What we're going to do with it is going to be real simple. We're going to probably put it down here. Yeah, I know my pots and pans are old, but they get the job done. We're going to start with just basic, generic brand tomato product. We can blend in with seasonings and spices to make a fairly decent marinara sauce. Now you could start there, but you're not going to get very much protein out of that. And if you just add pasta to that, it's not going to help matters any much further. Pasta is not particularly a high protein food, so you gotta have some protein in there. So generally, most people, add meatballs or ground beef or something like that for, more of a sort of a ragu or a bolognese style sauce. Unfortunately, one of the things you have to learn as you get sort of more into higher levels of fitness is you have less margin for error. If you are just starting out on your fitness journey, you can make much more minor changes and you'll see a lot of progress. But the more and more defined and the less and less body fat your body retains, the more focus you've got to have on exactly what it is you're putting into your body. It becomes a diminishing marginal returns type of thing. So, what does that mean? Well, Instead of going for a fattier cut of ground beef, you can either go for a leaner cut of ground beef, ground turkey, or, well, what I happen to have on hand because they had it on sale at the grocery store today, that would be some ground chicken. Now, you can also use blends of meat. For instance, you could use a leaner ground turkey or ground chicken, blend it in with Italian sausage to get that really nice flavor. Or you can use seasonings to sort of jazz up something that might not be as exciting to eat. That is the mark of many a great cuisine, actually. I mean, rice and beans is a staple pretty much every cuisine on the planet. And the reason they're all so different is because of how they're spiced, how they're seasoned. So we're going to start with our cutting board. I suppose I need to switch it to food and drink now, don't I? Let me do that. Good morning, understanding one. Let's see here. We need to switch it to fitness and health and over to food and drink. Perfect. Although I suppose you could still call this fitness and health because health requires the knowledge of diet. I mean, a big part of your overall health is what you eat, but I don't know. We are cooking, so it makes sense. So when I do that, I need to get to the different scene. Need to go to the kitchen scene. Kitchen scene's got to have the double cams. See if I can't get that up and rolling. Give me 1 second. Huh. That's strange. Guess my laptop cam isn't working today. Well, that kind of sucks. Unfortunately, that's going to mean I can't do the dual cam as I normally do. That's a bit of a downer, unfortunately. All right, well, we'll have to improvise. I'll try my best to get everything in shot. We'll make do with what we've got. So, I'm gonna go ahead and make sort of a basic bolognese sauce. It's not very fancy. It's not going to be five-star restaurant level gourmet, but that's not what you're looking for when you're cooking for yourself. I find that, if you're cooking for yourself, you want something that tastes reasonably good, but is also balanced, right? Just like everything else is. It's a balance. You want convenience. I call it the Holy Grail meal. The Holy Grail meal is a meal that balances perfectly on convenience, sustainability, taste, how healthy it is for you, and how inexpensive it is for you, right? You can have all 5 of these things in different levels, but if you try to maximize any one of those factors, in all likelihood, you're going to lose out on the other 4. For instance, take instant ramen noodles. Instant ramen noodles are very, very convenient, and they are very, very cheap. But they're certainly not very good for you. The taste, you can say, is good but not great. I certainly don't think anyone would say, oh, instant ramen's the most delicious thing on the planet. It's fine. It's certainly adequate, but no more. Well, I'm not really quite sure how sustainable that is. On one hand, it's not got any meat in it or really any fresh vegetables. What vegetables are in there are dehydrated. But on the other hand, it comes in quite a bit of plastic packaging and wrapping, so yeah, sustainability is somewhere in the middle. The point is, in maximizing convenience and being inexpensive, you've done that at the cost of being healthy or being tasting good, right? At least relative to more involved ramens. So that's the basic principle we're talking about here. $2 package of ground chicken. It's pretty simple. I had got this on sale a while back, so it's a bit frozen still. So what we're gonna do to help thaw it a little bit faster is dump it into our pot over here, and I'll show you guys the pot once we get things a little bit further underway. And then I'm going to turn the stovetop on just to low, not to actually, cook the meat, but just enough to make it thaw a little bit faster. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get out whatever fresh veggies we want to add. Wait, ow, fuck. Cut myself. That didn't feel good. No, it's not that big. Yeah, just a little bleed there. I'm trying to open it and the knife slipped a little bit. That's going to be annoying. And it is a basic, actually it's a sweet onion. It's a Vidalia onion. Because I live here in the deep south, these go on sale all the time in the summer. And so I cook with them fairly regularly. There we go. Cut off the ends. We peel off the outside layers. Almost dropped it. Let's see, we got everything good to go there. All right. So go ahead and throw away all the excess peel. That isn't necessary. Actually, I could compost it. I might do that. Nah, I'll just chuck it for now. I don't really feel like getting that involved with it today. Usually I'm better about that. Usually I'll compost my organic waste, but I just don't really feel like doing that right now. It'd be a pain in the ass to go out all the way to the compost bin on stream. That'd just leave you guys with dead air. So I'm not gonna do that, but normally I do. So we just do a rough chop of this onion. My roommate has certain texture preferences, and as a result does not really like big chunks of crunchy vegetables, or even, chunks of vegetables at all, really, even if it were to, sort of simmer down and soften. She'd prefer that it be blended up. This is something I don't mind doing, so I'm going to do it. All right. So we've done a little rough chop of our onions there. Who we got on chat right now? Oh, looks like chat's pretty quiet. All right, so we'll carry on. Get a little water first. Actually, while I'm here, I have one of my little supplements. Just a little bit of creatine into my water. Normally I'll do like protein powder on the days where I'm lifting, but since today's a rest day, I don't think that's quite necessary. Instead, I'm going to go with a little bit of creatine. Just drop it in like that. Creatine helps you take water mass from out of your fat cells and puts it in your muscle cells. Makes your bulk look a little bit bigger, gives you a little bit more muscle, but it's also been linked to certain mental health benefits. It's also got the ability to accelerate muscle recovery. The other thing I'm going to add to this, for the exact same reason, is a basic magnesium citrate powder. These are not necessary, and if you're looking to get in really good shape, you don't need either of these supplements. But they have been found in limited doses to help. So, because both they are inexpensive and because they do seem to help me, I've noticed that I have a positive reaction towards them. That's what I do. I'll grab a few ice cubes while I'm at it, because I prefer my water cold. Fill it up. There we go. Let that mix in for a little while. And let's carry on with our food. So, we've got the meat thawing in one pot. We've got the onions chopped up. We've got our tomato products there. Now we need to figure out what all we're going to do for spices before I suppose we can start adding things in. believe there was. Not this time. No. No, I think we're good as is. We're going to keep it simple today. So, because my roommate is not a huge fan of vegetable texture, we're going to throw in the onions into the pot first. Really, we can just take this whole thing. And onions are good for you. Onions have lots and lots of nutritional benefits, especially around here at the Vidalia Sweets. You can eat them like they were an apple, and they taste great. All right, so I'll go ahead and show off what's in the pot right now. It's just onion, nothing too crazy yet. The pot to the right, the taller pot, I'm using to heat up the meat, but later that'll be the pot where I use to boil the water and make the pasta, which I have up here. Just basic, no nonsense. Oh, wrong shelf. Excuse me. Just basic, no nonsense linguine. Nothing crazy. You can get it at, I got this at Aldi. This is the fancier pasta at Aldi actually. Normally I get the cheap stuff, but this is the nice stuff. I guess I'm having nicer stuff. Hey, good to see you, Cat Bro. Can opener starting to squeak a little bit. Need to get a little WD or something. Interesting. A little oil might just do the trick, actually. Do that, we'll skillfully apply the oil. So while we're at it, we start turning the burner on for the other oven. Throw a little bit of olive oil, not just enough to drip on the can opener here. Apply that as a sort of a lubricant. So that way it stops squeaking so much. There we go. Now it turns without any squeaks or issues. And olive oil is obviously not the ideal lubricant for a can opener. I get that, but in the short term it works. Also, whatever drips of olive oil go onto the onions is probably not the end of the world. Still pretty good for you. Olive oil is, like any oil, pure fat, so make sure to use it in very small quantities, but a little olive oil isn't a bad option. Olive oil has been linked to certain health benefits from a micronutritional perspective. Recommend to Checo if I can get it. Actually, that reminds me. I forgot I had this. I have Cento up here, and my roommate really likes that, so I'll probably swap out the Aldi can for the nice fancy Cento can. I don't normally do that, but for me, right, I care about the more economical ones, so normally I buy generic brand. I'm not very fancy. So we'll start with our little can of Cento. San Marzano, yeah. I like basic tomatoes grown in the United States. I know California grows a lot of them. This is from New Jersey, I guess. All right, well, that's pretty good. So we're gonna throw that can of, this is tomato puree, again. Nothing fancy, it's just crushed up tomatoes, basically. Then I'm gonna throw in a can of stewed tomatoes. I like stewed tomatoes a lot. I think they add a little, I think they have a slightly different flavor than a lot of other basic tomato products, but because of the texture, my roommate doesn't like them. So what I'm gonna do is throw in the stewed tomatoes, but then blend them up. And I have a little stick blender that I will use to achieve this. For applying the olive oil to the can opener, my hands are a bit oily now. I may have to wash them. I feel like everything's really slippery. There we go. Nothing too crazy, just your basic stewed tomatoes. I've got basic Aldi brand tomato sauce and tomato paste. I'm going to add these as necessary to either thicken or loosen the sauce. But first I'm going to do the blending. leave the ground chicken package over to the side because that will be useful for calculating macronutrients later, which is important. So I need the blender, and I believe it's in this drawer. It sure is. This is kind of nice, honestly. I love my workout streams, but like yesterday, I don't know if y'all could tell, like I was suffering on that one. It was getting really hot inside of my garage. Spaghetti sauce, more or less, just a basic bolognese or ragu. Let's see. Put the blender on. There it goes. Yeah, I'm just making a basic spaghetti sauce. I think I'm actually going to use linguine, but close enough. The reason I'm doing that today is because it's Sunday, and so if I have a great big pot of something to eat, it's, you know, something I can use for multiple days into the week where I'm working and wouldn't otherwise have the time to make something. It's meal prep Sundays. You know, that's not rocket science. It might sound a little weird, but a little cinnamon and tomato sauce is very tasty. So, you know, I normally go with basil, oregano, black pepper. I like a little red wine in mine. And actually, before I get into blending too much, a little balsamic vinegar too. Not a ton, because balsamic vinegar is rather strong stuff, but a little splash actually I think is quite nice. I think it goes really well with tomato sauce. I also have red wine vinegar, but if I'm going to add red wine itself, red wine vinegar probably isn't necessary. The question then becomes, which red wine to use, actually. I have two very nice Tempranillo wines. So they're on the drier side, but either would do. One is called San Gregorio, and one is called La Enfermera. They're both 2020 aged Tempranillo wines. I'm thinking I'm going to go for the Toro. Yeah, I'm on stream. I'm BullMuscle. I'll go with the Toro. That seems as good a reason as any. So of course then that means we need our can opener, or our bottle opener rather. Get rid of the little cap on the little plastic bit on the top. Or I guess it's foil, is really what it is. We open up the bottle of wine. I do love wine. I was going to make wine today, actually. Capro, you've only been in here for a little while. I've got the grapes if you'd like to see them. The trouble is that I seem to have misplaced the yeast, and I haven't been able to find it yet. So, well, if I don't have yeast, I can't really readily make wine, can I? I can make grape juice, but I can't make wine. Hey, good morning, Nick. Welcome on in. So we're going to go ahead and open up this bottle. If I can not be a complete spaz with the corkscrew. I am being a complete spaz with the corkscrew. Come on. It's trouble because my hands are all covered in olive oil. They're slippery. There we go. One of the best sounds in the whole wide world, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put this near the mic so you can hear it. Oh. Well, that came out without the signature pop. A bit disappointing. Love to see the grapes. Sure thing. Oh, God, I love the smell of good wine. I am going to not pour myself a glass, so that would be a bit rude at 10 in the morning, but I am going to have just the tiniest little sip of it. I have to know. Yeah, I'll show you the grapes in just a moment. I'm going to get out just a tablespoon, so I want to taste this on its own merit first. And this is at room temperature, so it's not even at cellar temp, but I have to know. I'm very curious. Just a little bit, just like a teaspoon. Let's see what this looks like. It's got a really pretty color to it. I mean, it's your basic wine red. It is just a basic Tempranillo. It's nothing too fancy, but smells lovely. Ooh, oh, that's nice. That is a really nice dry Spanish wine. I think that's going to be excellent in our tomato sauce. So we're going to pour not an egregious amount. It's not, wine is not supposed to be the dominant flavor, but it's just supposed to add a little something extra to our pot. So we're going to that should do. Nothing too much. We'll throw on our cork. And because I do probably fancy having a glass later, I know this is a cardinal sin of wine, but I'm going to actually throw this in the refrigerator for a couple hours. And the reason being because I want it to be roughly cellar temperature, which is about, what, 50, 55 degrees Fahrenheit? It's 76 in here, so it'll take a few hours for it to even get close to cellar temperature if I refrigerate it. There we go. Put the cork in. I know, obviously, most wines are not meant to be served chilled, and I'm not going to serve that chilled. But if I refrigerate it for an hour or two, it'll be a lot closer to cellar temp. I actually do have some equivalent of a wine fridge over there that I may need to kick on. That'll probably be something I do in a couple hours, but that'll get it closer to wine cellar temperature faster. So we're going to actually need just a bit of water. The reason being that there is still leftover tomatoes on the sides of the can, and I'm not someone who wastes. So we're going to do that. I may do that later, depends on how thick the sauce is. If I need to water it down a bit just to make it the right consistency, that's what I'll do. We'll season it after we blend. Hey, JJ Gonzalez, thank you very much for the 100 bits. I appreciate that. Welcome to the bullpen. It's good to see you for the first time today. Nick, always good to see you as well. So we're going to go ahead and start. We'll just turn it down to low speed, and then you work up to high. Nope. There it goes. That's it. All right, I'm immediately realizing this needs a bit more liquid, so actually what I'm going to do, not a ton, but just a bit of red wine vinegar as well. Yeah, dude, that immersion blender, I was so reticent to get one for so long, and I'm like, now that I have one, I'm like, why did I wait? I am notorious about being very frugal, very careful with my dollar. Immersion blenders are 100% a good use of your money. Especially if you've got a roommate who has, issues with, certain textures. Well, as a result, this means I can blend vegetables that I wouldn't otherwise be able to put in to curries or sauces or anything of that nature, stews. And as a result, she can still eat them, which makes life easier for us both. Because that's kind of the thing with cooking, especially if you've got a roommate. If you try to have individual people cooking for themselves, all it does is produce double the amount of dishes, and it's just a pain in the ass. So instead of doing that, I'm going to throw in a little more water. Not too much. Just enough to get the residue out of the cans. There we go. That's mostly clean. And enough to make blending a bit easier. See, like the chunks of tomatoes and onions, I love that, but my roommate doesn't. Cooking for one is a pain. Disagree with that. I love cooking for myself because I can make things very easily and conveniently for myself. If it were just for me, I wouldn't have to do the blending, but I don't mind doing that. Plus, sometimes Dodger cooks for me, and she's quite a good cook too. There we go. And it's getting smoother, so we increase the speed just a bit. I'm trying my best not to splatter here. Okay, I think I could use... I'm reticent to put any more water in, so instead I'm going to add a can of tomato sauce. This should do quite nicely. I think I may add a little bit more of that wine in. You convince my uncle using a dishwasher is worth it? Dude, it totally is. I have lived in trailer homes without dishwashers before. I love my dishwasher so much. It's amazing. And I never ever want to have to live without one ever again. It's a pain in the ass. He's a weird aversion to it because my grandma didn't like them. The thing is, too, is it's one of those rare technologies where not only are you, saving a lot of time, but you're also doing things more efficiently. You use so much less water with a dishwasher than you do with hand washing things. And there are certain things, yeah, exactly, they disinfect, they cut grease better, but there are certain things that you can't dishwash, and, cast iron in general, you're better off hand washing that, letting it soak, and yada, yada, yada. But not everything goes in that category. There are certain things you can put into the dishwasher. My junky old pots and pans, they're my junky set, right? And as a result, I can put them in the dishwasher, and it doesn't really matter. 1 to 2 gallons versus 7 plus. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I am going to throw a bit more wine into there. Focused Game Plays. Welcome to the bullpen. How are you doing? Good morning. You are catching me on a rather unusual stream. I don't typically... I mean, you can do the math and do a literal ROI. Say, hey, this will pay for itself and start saving you money in X amount of years. That's how you win frugal people over. That's how I calculate things in terms of ROI. Take a little wine. It's the only thing that'll work. Yeah. Look, people are responsible with their money, man. I got no problem with that. Although, really, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be shocked by the fact that I'm approving of your relative's frugal ways. For anyone who doesn't. Oh, hello. We've got a new follow. Hey, Pooh Bearism. Thank you very much for the follow. And move the wine back over here. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. My name's BullMuscle. I normally do health and fitness streams, but today is a rest day. So instead, we're talking about the diet side of health. That is, how to make meals that are what I like to call Holy Grail. A Holy Grail meal is a meal that fits the five criteria of inexpensive, tastes good, healthy, convenient, and sustainable. Now, very few meals hit all five of those, at 100%. So like anything in life, you've got to make compromises. Now, there are some meals that manage to hit none of those things. For instance, fast food. For me, fast food doesn't taste good because I never eat it, so I've never really gotten used to it. It's not very cheap. Fast food may be advertised as cheaper than other restaurants, and that may be true. But compared to cooking for yourself, fast food is outrageously expensive for what you're getting. It's certainly not healthy for you. I don't think I need to explain that one. It's not sustainable because of all the packaging you have to buy with the fast food, especially if you get it as takeout. And then it's not very convenient because you have to go and get it. So the fast food is 0 out of 5 there. The key is trying to find ones that are as close to 5 out of 5 there as possible. And it's not easy to do. I splattered a bit here, so I'm just wiping off the stovetop. Excuse me. McDonald's is so expensive. You moved your text box, man? Liminal, no, I got rid of it. The rest of my fan base didn't seem to enjoy having it on screen, so I got rid of the text box. But I do read chat fairly often, so generally speaking, very little gets missed. What are you talking about, Mike? McDonald's is expensive. It didn't used to be. It used to be a place where you could get a meal for $2 or $3, and it ain't the case anymore. There used to be the dollar menu. All right, that's looking pretty good. Need to do one other thing. I wish I had some fresh on me. I don't. My apologies to any Italians or Italian Americans that will be watching this. I am having to take a bit of a shortcut and use pre-minced garlic. They have good sales on it at Costco, and it is somewhat useful for this particular application. Now it's 10 plus. My uncle says it's expensive, but at least it's mediocre. Yeah, it sounds about right for McDonald's. Now I like garlic, and frankly, the stuff you get in a jar is never as strong as fresh. So I always, if I'm gonna use stuff in a jar, I'm gonna throw a little bit more in. That'll do. Love garlic. Love, love, love it. Perfect. Okay. And one last thing I should add. Now, I think we'll save on that and go for the seasonings instead. Okay. I think we're going to be good for blending. So we'll remove the stick blender off to the side for now. Legit Mexican joints are cheaper than McDonald's and loads better. Not to mention really good taco trucks. Go to any construction site, you'll find one. McDonald's is probably the cheapest fast food, though, in comparison to other places I've seen. It's cheap as far as I've seen. But that's the thing. Compared to home cooking, fast food is still outrageously expensive. So it's not worth your money. Especially when it doesn't... It's not really any... When you think about it, it's not really any better than your other options. I have just another little spoonful of wine because this is really tasty. Oh, I can't wait to have a glass of that later. There's a Mexican hamburguesa joint in SLC, and it's amazing. I bet. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering why I'm not doing my wine making stream, I'll explain. But first, let me go get you all the grapes so you can see them. These here, I need to turn the camera angle down. These here are South Carolina Scuppernong grapes. I have more, and I will pick more. And what I was going to do this morning was crush these up and turn them into wine. Unfortunately, I have not been able to locate my yeast, and as such, we're in a bit of a holding pattern on this one. I was going to do this live on stream. I may have to do it on Discord later. They are wonderful. They're two different varieties. You've got the black Scuppernong, and you've got the bronze Scuppernong. They're very good. They are they're a wine grape variety, or they're a grape variety not known very well by the outside community, because they only grow in a specific chunk of the deep south, and, well, God help help winos. They'd rather probably die before come to the South to experience good wine. Winos, okay, the wine community pisses me off sometimes because the same people who for decades put California down for being inferior to European wines are now doing the same with other parts of the US for being inferior to California wines, and it bothers me. Hey, CSGO, good to see you. There we go. Those grapes are good. I do have my big primary fermenter. Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna make a couple gallons of wine. That's the goal. I am making some wine. This is my secondary fermenter. I've got all the equipment. The only thing I was unable to find is the yeast, and I do have it. I just don't know where I left it 1 year ago. I do make homemade wine. Again, this is one of the really great benefits of living in the deep South, in particular here in South Carolina. We grow on my back vine back there. I grew and I found just around the town. They grow everywhere around here. They're called scuppernongs. No, I don't have any barrels. Oh, the follow alert's really loud? Is it? Okay, my bad. I didn't realize. I'll try and tune that. Thank you very much for the follow, Egodric. Egodric. Yeah, no. If I were to wear spandex, Twitch would instantly ban me. Man, I have to abide by Twitch terms of service. I can't just do that, right? I get it, but like, come on now, be a little bit rational. Anyway, let's go ahead and we'll get our spoon out. Ed Marino, good to see you. Liminal, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. It's like 400% louder than you. Can barely hear you. I have chroma. Interesting. Why is it doing that? I'll turn the alert button. Actually, I know why. It's because I haven't. It's because I'm using a different scene and I shouldn't be. Normally, this scene's got the. Let's do this. There we go. It should be fixed now. Sorry about that. I gotta play with the scenes. Am I coming in clear now? You have Chrome at 300% additional volume, and you still can't hear me? Am I quiet? Am I audio check? I guess. I'm trying my best to fix that. So I actually do have a new mic, so it should be coming in pretty clear. I can even do the ASMR type stuff and whatnot. No, this isn't a laptop mic. This is a boom. This is a little boom mic. I've got it turned up fairly far, but you need one of those mics you can clip on yourself. Everybody keeps telling me I need a different mic, and now I have like 4 or 5 different ones, and I don't know which one to use, and it drives me nuts. That mic doesn't work. It's your laptop mic that's picking you up. No, it isn't. It literally isn't. I can see it on my audio mixer. There's literally only one source, and I've made sure it's this one. I can tell because... Huh. No, you're right. What the fuck? Wonder... Is it a different scene that I have it on? What the hell? I thought I had fixed that. Let's try this. You son of a bitch. I guess it's not working. That's really dumb. That's... What the fuck? I thought I had that fixed. Okay. One of the things that I have of mine that's a real pet peeve is just how irritating OBS is to make audio equipment work. I don't know why it's a pain in the ass. It just is a pain in the ass. But I fucking did this already. I added that audio source. I know it's in here. There it is. Why did I? But I know I did this before. I know I did this before. How about now? Okay, yeah, that's definitely it. What the fuck, though? I did that. I know I did this before. That's really annoying. That is genuinely irritating. It's Windows doing it. It's taking control of your audio devices. There's settings you have to change so it doesn't keep doing it. Oh. Well, that's really obnoxious. That's seriously annoying. Okay, well, at least seems the same as that laptop, though. Super. How about this? How about this? If I just keep it here and hold it here the entire time. No, I'm fucking with you. I'll try and put it. I mean, I'm like 2-3 feet away from it. Wait, can we hear the quality from without the cover? It sounds tinny. Jesus Christ. This is why I'm actually, okay, as a side note, one of my admins is actually coming here in person and is super into AV quality, so I'm really happy. I'm going to let them try and play with this, because everything I do seems to make it worse. Everybody always complains about... I get you. Egodric, please stop being that horny in chat. I think the laptop mic is better, to be honest. God... Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. People just complain about everything I do seems to make it worse. No matter what I do, the mic quality is never better. It pisses me off because I try and I try and I try and I never seem to make it better. And every time someone says it better, yeah, I know he said it like 3 times. I'm kind of busy in the middle of a cooking thing here, so I can't really address it right now. Anyway. What we are going to do is we're going to chuck our meat in, actually. No, you know what? I'm going to brown my meat in here. I'm going to brown my meat in my other pot. Can help you if you need. Okay, fine. Well, what do you want me to do right now while I'm in the middle of my stream? I need to make this. I should have made this. I should have put this in my compass. Was the people who talk about AV quality. The clip-on or even a cheap one will be your best bet. I'll return the other one, though. Okay. Well, I don't have a clip-on with me right now, okay? I don't have one in my house. I can't just... Whatever. I'm going to continue cooking. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on that. If y'all have problems with the mic, deal with it for today. We'll fix it next time. Thank you very much, moderator, whoever came in and got rid of that. Am I having a good day? It's fine. I'm enjoying the cooking, and it's just... And I'm sorry if it seems like I'm getting short about the audio quality. It's just everything I do seems to never fix it and always make it worse. It just pisses me off. It's really frustrating, because I feel like no matter what I do, it doesn't seem to ever improve it. So we're going to start with some black pepper in here. So we're going to add black pepper to the sauce as well. Well, yes, stoicism, I get that, but right, the idea here is that audio quality should be in my control. And the fact that it isn't is bothering me, because I don't know what to do to fix it. A lot of my friends have gone through that. Once you get to where you want it, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Well, so that's the nice thing, right? So one of my friends, one of the guys on this stream who's an admin, is going to show up here in a couple of weeks. Hey, thank you very much for the subscribe. I appreciate that. El Rano Cristiano. Thank you very much. You always let the lurk while you study. Well, I appreciate that. I always love the first time messages. That means a lot. Thank you very much for the sub. Thank you very much for coming in. Always good to talk to you. It's not your expertise. Someone's coming to help. People can deal with it for the meantime. That's unfortunately what's going to have to happen. But I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for the sub. So we're going to continue cracking some pepper. We're going to need red pepper. I do like a little red pepper in my sauce. I don't go... No, normally I go for a lot, but my roommate doesn't really care for it as much. She's got a much weaker spice tolerance, so just a couple flakes through the entirety of the pot should be sufficient. Next we want... Nope, that's fennel. Actually, a little fennel would be kind of nice. Not too much. There we go. Might blend that in now that I'm thinking about it. Because the fennel seeds, they'll be a bit stronger if
they get blended together. The release a little bit more. Some parsley, just dried. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Hey Dodge, can you do me a favor? Dodge.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor?
What you need?
Can you run outside and start picking me some of that basil at the garden? Because I'm going to be making all this Italian sauce. That would be the time to have it.
Alright.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get your attention.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Oy.
In the meantime, excuse me. Let's see. Love biting into fennel, especially in Indian food. Oh, totally. I love it spicy as well. You could not have been more straight-faced thankful. I'm really just bathing in the misery right
Is it time?
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Go wash my hands. Italian basil, not Thai basil, by the way.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna get 3, so.
Cool. Cool. That will do. Okay. So I cannot do any pepper. A little dust. I think it's probably from something else too. You like it, but you might be allergic to. Nah, I think I just had to sneeze. It happens. Ugh. There we go. Okay, where were we at? Seasoning the ground chicken. A little poultry seasoning for that. A little white pepper. Not too much. Rosemary. Gotta have rosemary. And a little of that in the sauce too. So all I'm going to do is brown the meat in this pot, and then I'm going to chuck that into the sauce. And then with the seasoning that's been left in the pot, I'm going to throw water in it and boil the pasta in the same pot. I have a little question if you don't mind. Shoot. Go for it. Thai basil is amazing. Oh my god, I love Thai basil. But Thai basil does not belong in a spaghetti sauce. Genovese basil is what we want for that. There's something else I need to throw in here. I'm trying to remember what I normally throw in here. No, that's not it. Already thrown in garlic. Although, no. A little red pepper in here wouldn't be bad as well. And probably a touch of balsamic vinegar wouldn't be a bad idea either. Not too much, just a little. So, break up the block of meat. There we go, so that way it cooks a little bit faster, browns a little bit more evenly. That's it. There we go. Perfect. Surprised you don't have a huge spice garden growing. I do. It's a big old herb and spice garden in the back, but I was asking my roommate to get that for me. Ag, if there's one thing I know you'd like, thank you very much. Can I get more than this?
That's 12 leaves?
Yeah, I'd like more.
Alright.
This is fresh Genovese basil. You want a strong, I like heavy basil and a big, because it's a big pot of sauce, so yeah, a few more would be great. Also, because I just ate one. They're really good.
Of course you did.
It's fresh basil. It's really tasty. Feijoada is the shit. My dad makes it. Or feijoada. Phoenix, welcome on in. Welcome on in. Ag, if there's one thing you like, it's this Brazilian stew I've seen. Is a black bean stew with diced onions and kielbasa. That sounds baller as hell. I should try making that. How would you explain human consciousness? Yeah, no, Dodger is used to my antics, for the most part. We give each other crap. Use a little bit more black pepper. No, we give each other, we have a good time. She cooks for me, I cook for her. She'll usually do a lot of the gardening. I'll usually do a lot more of the heavy-duty chores, picking out the gutters at the roof, all that jazz. Tastes absolutely amazing. I bet it is. I'm gonna put the wine. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit risky today. Just a splash to cook the chicken in. So this wine is one of these wine bottles that's got a good backstory to it. I'll explain human consciousness in just a moment. This is interesting. It says, during 1476, at the Battle of Toro against Alfonso V of Portugal, was born the Spanish health thanks to Isabel the Catholic, the nurse. She was who decided that the 6 tents to treat wounded soldiers were installed, as well as the red wine dosification to comfort them. La Enfermera is made exclusively from 100% Tinta de Toro type grapes, that's Tempranillo, from our vineyards, all with non-grafted vines, from a slight barrel aging during 3 months. Can I ask some context about retired before 30? You sure can. There's a reason it's there. Absolutely. Let me put this back. And I'll try to explain human consciousness. This one's difficult. Human consciousness is the collective term for the way we perceive ourselves, the universe around us, and other entities, be they other humans or animals. There we go. Okay, so let's try. So Pooh Bearism. Thank you for the first time chat. So retired by 30. What's that all about? Well, the simple answer is that I have, over the last 6-7 years, made financial decisions to try and minimize my spending while keeping my pay reasonably high. I mean, I have a good but not great job. I appreciate
And
it.
that's for your sauce, and this is for your snack.
Ooh.
That's the purple basil.
Yeah, I got me some purple Thai basil there. Wash that off. We don't use pesticides on our stuff anyway, so we're good there. Ag bud tip by one of those cross-shaped meat choppers to make breaking down ground beef so much easier. Been trying to chop it over and over again. I mean, I had no problem chopping that. Anyway, with the retiring by 30 thing. So the idea here is very simple. I'm a huge fan of what's called the FIRE movement. The FIRE movement is the basic premise that if you, instead of spending like the average American consumer does and saving a paltry 5 to 6% of your average paycheck, you save a lot more than that. As a result, because of your continued lower spending, your money compounds and you can retire a lot earlier on a lot less. That's the general gist of it. As far as it's concerned, I am going to be able to achieve that. I'm roughly between 75 and 80% of the way there. Howdy, JJ. Good to see you. Trying to think of what else really there is to say about the whole FIRE thing. It's really quite simple. I've made sure to minimize all my expenses, but primarily the big three, that is housing, transportation, and partners. For the record, as of right now, I'm single. I am a homeowner, but I deliberately bought a home in a rural area because it was less expensive, and I drive an efficient, compact car. If I could switch to going car-free, I would, but I can't right now because I live, as I said, in a rural area. As far as what do I do with the money I save, roughly I save about 80% of my paycheck right now. And with that money, I more or less exclusively invest it. I tend to invest it in the stock market. Technically speaking, paying off the mortgage on this house is an investment, although it's a much more conservative one. Let's see here. The room gives no context on why. Well, I answered your question already. Or at least I tried to, about the human consciousness. If you missed that answer, I can say it again. I don't mind trying to explain human consciousness. It's It's a difficult question. It's not an easy one. Okay, so that's why I was asking for all that fresh basil. Get a lovely smell. Oh, that just smells terrific. This is the trouble with cooking shows. I've never quite understood them because you can neither smell nor taste what it is that I'm cooking. They're still fun, though. Absolutely. Now, if you've got questions on how I'm doing it, I try not to, openly state what I make on camera unless asked, just because I find that to be a little bit garish, I guess is what I would say. There we go. Perfect. There were still a few bits of basil I had to pick out that had gotten caught. That'll be good. Alright, so this is cooking up nicely. We'll turn the temperature down. And take the stick blender off, put it over to the side. If you're clawing that thing, yeah, I got big lineman hands, big bull hooves, I guess I should say. There's a little bit of it. Here that fell off. Taste it. There we go. Oh, it's good. That's really good. I gotta clean that up, but that's all right. Okay, so we've more or less browned our meat in the pot. Go ahead and dump this. Break it up a bit because it's ground meat. It's not supposed to be very fancy. It's actually ground chicken. Normally I'd prefer ground beef, but ground chicken was what I happened to have on hand, so I seasoned it accordingly. It will still taste just fine. Big meaty claws, yes. There we go. There's one little piece that's sticking on there. Means I get it as a bonus. What is the meal here? I'm just making a basic spaghetti sauce. Nothing incredible, nothing groundbreaking, but tasty, decent nutrition. I'll break that up a bit more and stir it in. It's not a ton of meat. I probably should have made more, honestly. It was just a pound. But I may, I don't know, make some chicken parm to go along with this too, or something. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. And stir it in, nice and easy. And I'll show you the current status of the sauce once I finish stirring here. Get all mixed in right. All right, and it's fairly warm, so we're going to turn the stove down a bit. And now the nice thing is, with any big red sauce, like an Italian sauce or a curry or a stew, the longer you let it simmer, the better it's going to taste when you do eat it. So here's what we got so far. Move the can out of the way. There it is. It's just your basic bone stock, not very fancy Italian sauce. The only thing fancy I did to add to it this time around was add wine. So that's more or less it. Now, you're going to say, well, awesome, great. So when do we eat? Well, I'm not going to eat quite yet because I'm not hungry. I very seldom get hungry in the morning, so I'm going to wait probably till lunch to indulge in that. But what I will do right now is talk about what the macros in there. But yeah, thanks for the questions about financial independence, Pooh Bear. If you've got further questions or you want to elaborate how I've done it, what I've chosen to do, specifics, by all means. The more detailed a question you ask, the more detailed an answer I can give. Great. I always love to talk about that, though, because I do believe anybody could have chosen to do what I've done. I've just made, frankly, really sensible decisions. So we've got Robbie Bear. Thanks for the first time chat. Welcome to the bullpen. How are you doing? So now we're going to calculate the macros for our meal. So how do we do that? Macros are defined as 4 major components: protein, carbohydrates, fat, and alcohol. These are the 4 things that comprise what calories are, more or less. The idea here is that your body can burn 3 different types of things for energy. Primarily, it likes carbs the first, then it likes fat, and then it likes protein. So, what you want to do to have good macro meals, or meals that are, especially if you're cutting weight, you want meals that are higher in protein and lower in calories. I'm not a huge fan of completely getting rid of any of the major macros. Carbs are good, fat is good, protein is good. It's the levels at which you're eating them that matter. So, just like everything else, in moderation. Now, there is a little wine in there, but as you saw, I didn't put a ton in, and whatever alcohol is in there will probably cook out, so we don't really need to worry about that one as much. But I will probably throw in a little factor of safety in my calculations here to adjust. So, how do we start with this? Well, we're going to start with calories. So we're going to look up everything we threw in here, all right? First thing, we threw a pound of ground chicken in. That's pretty easy. That's 160 calories per serving, 4 servings per container. That's 640 calories from that, all right? So I'm going to get my calculator out and use my phone just so that way I can keep a running tally. Why do you live in Texas anyway and not my neighborhood? Why do you live in Texas and have a cutout of South Carolina on your wall? It's because I live in South Carolina. I actually moved to South Carolina a couple years ago, but I do consider myself a Texan because the plurality of time I have spent on this earth has been in the Great Lone Star Republic. There's your answer. I'm also an Aggie, gig. I'm class of 17. I took my ring off to do the cooking, but I think I'm going to go grab it. There you go. Proof of graduation right there, more or less. But yeah, I love Texas. It's just the job I got sent me to South Carolina. And who knows where the future could send me. I could very well end up seeing a future job in which I go somewhere else. Or I could stay here. Or I could move back to Texas. Who knows? Anyway, the ground meat, the ground chicken was 640 calories. We threw a can of stewed tomatoes in. That's 35 calories times 3.5 servings per container. So that's 35, 70, 105, about 120. And then we threw in a can of tomato sauce as well. That was 3.5 servings times 15. So that's 15, 45, 52. So we'll say 55. So that's the 2 cans over there. Did not end up throwing the tomato paste in, so we're going to throw that back into the cupboard. I didn't need it. Tomato paste is excellent when you need to thicken a sauce, but the sauce is perfectly, I think, it's the right texture as we want it already, so we don't need to worry about that. Threw in a can of pureed tomatoes. That's 13 servings per container, 25 calories per serving, so it's 25 times 13. 25 times 10 is 250, 25 times 3 is 75, add those two together, that's 325. Then we threw in 1 sweet Vide onion, which is about 60 calories. I'm trying to think of what else we threw in. Threw in a little bit of wine, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of basil. Those are mostly negligible calories, but to be conservative, we'll throw in an extra 100 calories to account for all of those. I make meat sauce and eat it just like that. Well, that's actually what I'm doing. Sometimes I like to chop up spiralized zucchini and make that my pasta alternative. But I'm going to make pasta for this. So the total for this whole pot is 1,300 calories. So we're going to write that down. 1,300 calories. Now, we have to figure out how much protein we added. All right, so protein. Most of that's going to come from the meat. It's 22 grams per serving. 4 servings, that's 88 grams of protein from that. 3.5 from the stewed tomatoes. 3.5 from the tomato sauce. And about 13 from the big can of pureed tomatoes. So that's 108 grams of protein, more or less. So we throw that in. Now fat. Fat for this is going to be pretty low. There wasn't that much that was fatty that we added. We had 9 grams of fat per serving times 4 servings, so that's going to be 36. All the tomato products are going to have nothing in terms of fat. We'll go ahead and add 1 gram just for all the collective tomato product there. Maybe we'll add another 2 or 3 just to account for the little drip of olive oil we threw in there at the beginning. Wasn't very much. So we'll say 40 grams of fat. And it doesn't need to be, you know, absolutely precise. You don't have to measure every single thing you do. This is a much simpler way to do it. By the way, good chest. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, CZH. Welcome. Thanks for the first time chat. Welcome to the bullpen. Love spiral zucchini. Spiral zucchini is pretty nice. See, I'm a fatty, so I'm trying to go easy on the fat and carbs. It's not working. No energy and don't work out. So, if you're looking for a macro plan, I'd be very happy to help you design that. Now, it's a little hard to do without getting prior information, so I recommend you check out my Discord. Awesome Hangout Friday. Oh yeah, a lot of people like those. So now, we've got our fat, we've got our protein, now we need to figure out how many carbs. I could go and do all the carbs of everything we've thrown in here. Instead, what I'm going to do is take my protein, take my total calories, that's 1,300, subtract the calories from protein, subtract the calories from fat, divide it by 4 because there are 4 calories in every gram of carbohydrates, and go from there. All right, so how do we do that? Well, we had 40 grams of fat. 40 grams of fat. In every gram of fat, there are 9 calories. This is why fat is very calorie dense. This is why a coconut, for instance, has 2,000 calories. Bet you didn't know that. An avocado, it may seem like a healthy fruit, and it is in moderation, but one avocado has 350 calories. Why? Because it's higher in fat. So 40 times 9, that's 360 calories from fat. Now you've got to do protein, so that's 108 calories. Multiply by 4, because every gram of protein has 4 calories. So 108 times 4, that's 432. So that's 792 combined calories from fat and protein. We have 1,300 calories for the total pot. So we have 1,300 minus 792 is 508 calories from carbs. Divide that by 4. We have 127 grams of carbs in this entire pot. There you go. So we have, for that whole pot that we just made, 1,300, 108, 40, and 127. So if we added just pasta to this, what we would get is a very carb-heavy meal. So instead of doing that, you can make a little bit of pasta, but have a little bit less pasta and consider throwing in, spiralize a zucchini. I actually have some zucchini in the fridge right now. I'm not getting it out, but you get the idea. You could go for maybe throwing in grilled chicken breast if you want to up the protein content. You could, adjust the ratio so it's a little bit more sauce, or if you find that you can be satisfied with a little bit of garlic bread instead of pasta, go for that. And a lot of it depends on the quantity. So you have to be honest with what you're putting in and just measure it. This is how I have found things to work for me. And, well, hey, look, the results speak for themselves, don't they? Come on. Look, if you had a six-pack, you'd show it off, too. Throw our container away. We'll clean up. You find a list of all commands. What's your week like? Okay, that's a good question. So I work at my day job. I do a 4-10-hour schedule. In other words, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm at work. Thursday, I get to telework, which is really nice. And then I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. During the week, especially Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm not very easy to reach. I just don't have a lot of time. We got another follow. Thank you very much, Mr. Potatoes. Welcome on in. So, workout-wise, so it really depends on the season. Because, as you all have seen, if you were on my stream yesterday, you'll note that my garage is not air-conditioned. And you'll also note that I live in the deep south, which means it gets very, very hot in there. And as such, my workout performance suffers. Today is Sunday, so today is my rest day. Typically, depending on the week, I will either work out 4 times a week or 5 times a week. It's been 4 times a week because I had Ultimate Frisbee on Tuesdays. However, that season has concluded, and as such, I now have Tuesdays open again, and I intend to work out on them. So for now, my schedule is going to be workout Monday, workout Tuesday, workout Wednesday. I have a gym, my workplace, that is air conditioned, and yes, I take advantage of it. Thursday's a rest day, but I often stream on Thursdays as well. I just didn't last time because that was the first day I'd gotten back from vacation, and I'd been on a really late flight, and so on and so forth. Friday I lift, Saturday I lift, Sunday is a rest day like this. So that's more or less how the schedule's going to be. I may change it as the weather becomes a bit more palatable. What's got to happen is the temperatures outside have got to get back into the 70s in my garage before I really want to start lifting an extra day in there. Right now, like yesterday, it was close to 90 actually past 90 in my garage by the time I was finished working out. It's just unpleasant. I don't care who you are, you will find that you're not going to lift as well in 85-degree weather as you would in 75-degree weather. How do you build muscle and gain size if you're skinny? Okay, we got make me redeem. We've got a points redeem here, so we'll go ahead and do. Let's see. Yesterday we did the buys of the guns, so we'll go ahead and go for the biceps on one side, biceps on the other side. All right. There's your pose. Appreciate that, Marth. Always good to see you. Thanks for the first time chat, Mr. Potatoes. So how do you build muscle and gain size if you're skinny? So the way to do bulking is a little bit different. Right now, so I'm on maintenance ostensibly, although because I went on vacation the last 2 weeks, I need to cut a little bit. My abs aren't quite as defined as I'd like them to be. They're looking all right in this lighting, but there's a little bit more progress I could make. Come this winter, I will do a bulk cycle. And the other reason I do bulking and cycling and cut cycling seasonally is that I already have enough trouble getting to sleep in the heat here, and 76 is as low as I'm willing to run my air conditioner because I don't want to break it. As such, what I try to do in the summer is try and go for a little bit more cut, a little bit more lean look, which to be honest, if you're going to the beach, that's what you'll want anyway. And then do my bulking in the winters. So if you're looking to get big, if you're looking to bulk, the way you want to do it is try and get a surplus in calories of about 500 to 1,000 over what you would normally, burn. In the same way, with a calorie deficit, if you're looking to cut fat, you want 500 to 1,000 under. You want high protein in either diet to maintain your muscle frame. The difference is you'll need more carbs and fat to bulk. One of my favorite methods for bulking is drinking lots and lots of milk. This is mostly because milk is fucking delicious. The other reason is that drinking your calories is very easy. In other words, if I drink a gallon of milk a day, and yes, I have done that, and yes, it's quite easy, I can have no issue hitting 5,000 calories in a day like that. And when I'm bulking, my workouts are extremely difficult. There is a workout regimen called Super Squats. I can show y'all the book that it's based on, and it is the hardest workout I've ever done, but it's also extremely effective. Y'all shouldn't be getting that many ads. I literally, again, I run ad breaks at the minimum amount Twitch allows me to. That's 30 seconds per hour. And let me knock this down. This is just creatine. That's another idea. I would recommend basic creatine monohydrate. You can get creatine in pre-workouts, but a lot of that's just junk. You don't need it. So go that way. So what do you eat for bulking? The nice thing with bulking is that as long as you're getting enough protein in, it doesn't matter too much. As long as, okay, so for bulking, what really matters is that you're getting enough protein, just like for cutting. And that's going to be depending on creatine in both cut and bulk. Yes, I like creatine both sides. That's just my preference. I know people who don't use creatine on a cut, but that's up to them. As far as other options to bulk, so when it comes to bulking, again, you wanna try and pick a target. For me, I usually go with about 4,000 to 4,500 calories a day. That may seem like a lot, but I'm 6'3" and about 210 pounds right now. I think I weighed in at just a tick under this morning, which is great. The weight's coming back off after vacation. So because of that, I usually burn, if I don't work out in a day, I'll burn usually about 3,000. If I do work out, it's probably 3,400. So if I'm looking for a bulk, between 4,000 and 4,500 is kind of that sweet spot. And then, of course, it also matters how much cardio you're doing, but that's a different subject. So as far as what to eat for bulking, it doesn't matter so much what you eat as it matters, the quality and variety of what you're eating. What do I mean by that? If you are bulking, you have to have all your micronutritional needs met. The reason for this is that when you're bulking, you're trying to put on muscle mass. That's the goal. You will inevitably put on a little bit of fat mass as you bulk. It's, more or less impossible to avoid that entirely. You can minimize the amount of fat gain you have, but some of it is natural and it's going to occur and you're just going to have to live with it. But to minimize that and to maximize how much muscle your body can put on, you want enough protein, and then you also want all your necessary vitamins and minerals to ensure that you don't have any deficiencies in your diet plan. All right, so if you're 5'10 and 135, okay, do be aware this is an 18 plus chat, but just, I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. I've worked out my life, thankfully, just not a complete blob, definitely like 33% fat. Yeah, if you're 5'11", 265, unless you're a power lifter, and I do know, like, powerlifting guys are absolute freaking studs at that kind of size. It doesn't sound like that's the case here. You're probably in need of a cut, and that's what I would recommend. I would recommend a cut cycle. So, to start for you, I'll give you, Robbie Bear, I'll use you as an example. But first I'm going to knock this down and head back over to my desk over there, so stand by. All the creatine powder stuck at the bottom, it tastes really not very good, so I'm just trying to dilute it enough to where I can knock it back. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to take my journal, and this is not just what I write my macros in, this is also what I write my workouts in, and it's also what I write like daily entries in. I found that if you write a little bit each day, even if it's just a sentence or two, you remember the days a little bit better, and you can go back and see your progress over time. Strongly recommend keeping a journal, by the way. Stand by. There we go. Because I've got, the mic and everything, it's a little bit harder. They make creatine pills. It's the only way I found I can take it. Well, to each his own. As long as you're getting it into your system, that's really what matters. And creatine isn't necessary. It's like not a necessity. You don't have to use creatine, but it's helpful, is what I would say. Mr. Potatoes, if you're looking for my age, you can see it. You can see basic details about who I am and what I do in the About section down below as you're watching. I am 28 years old, if you're wondering. And I gotta plug in the power, and then I'm gonna turn the light on, so that way you guys get better visual. Dear Diary, Bull spoke to me today. He's a dream. That's funny. There we go. Beautiful. Pretty good lighting. I haven't used creatine in ages. Hey, TomoFit, good to see you. I'm going to shout you out because I like you. You have good content. I'm going to give you a shout out there. I feel like Tomo does good stuff. Go check him out. Definitely recommend. Anywho, let's see. Richard Zard, thank you very much for the first time chat. Welcome in. Okay, so Robbie Bear, if you'd like, I can give you a basic cut cycle idea of what macros you should be looking to hit. Are you interested in hearing that? I can do it. I can do it in broad levels live on stream. If you want specifics, you probably want to go to my Discord, which is right here. We are done with the cooking section of the stream, so we're going to switch back to health and fitness now. Done. Perfect. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so thank you for volunteering your information, because you have to have the basic information for me to help you. All right. Hopefully you've got a pencil and paper or something on your phone where you can record or take notes. So you said you're 5'11" and 265. I'm guessing here that you're looking to cut down. And the question is, where are you looking to go? I would say you're better off. Are you gonna cack on your handstand push-ups? Oh yeah, we have 30 people. What am I doing? I need to do handstand push-ups. I'll do that. I'm gonna give Robbie Bear the advice first, and then I'm gonna do the handstand push-ups. And hey, man, Friar Wolf, no need to be a hard ass about it. That was after a push day, dude. My shoulders were shot. I'll do them today. Okay, so if you're 5'11" and 265, I'm guessing you're looking to lose. Probably to start, you probably ideally want to be closer to 200-ish pounds. Don't worry, well, you get more of it then if you've been 285 and that's not good. So I'd imagine if you could be 200 pounds, like just 200 dead, you'd probably be pretty happy about that, right? Okay, I recommend that may take a little bit of time. 65 pounds is a lot of weight to lose, but you can do it. I would recommend going for about a 12-week cut. So what is that going to look like? 12-week cut is going to be a 6-week cut, 1 to 2 weeks of refueling maintenance, kind of letting your body, your metabolism adjust to your new body, and then a second 6-week cut. All right. You can lose sustainably between 0.5 and 1% of your body mass every single week. So for you, that's going to be about 2.5 pounds, give or take, because as you lose weight, you can't lose as much per week as you started because you're starting from a smaller base. So let's say 2.5 pounds per week. So 2.5 times 12, that's going to be 12, 24, 30 pounds. In other words, you could sustainably expect to get to about 235 pounds over a 12-week cut. 12-week cut would put you just about around Thanksgiving, the end of November. So that's pretty good. So if you'd want to be around 235, and then you could probably take, a couple weeks at maintenance. The holidays are always a bitch anyway, and cutting through the holidays sucks. I'm not going to tell you to do that. That's not fun. But then maybe around January, you start a second 12-week cut, and you could probably be 200-ish around early summer of 2024. So that would be where I'd start. So how do we get from here to there? All right, well, the answer is you need a little bit of math. There's a lot of background information on why this would generally work, and you can look up a BMR calculator yourself. You can look up all that sort of stuff on your own. I've got a lot of really good resources on my Discord about this, and I would be very, very happy to show you what's on there. Again, go check out my Discord at some point. But for now, what I would say is if you're looking to get to a target of around 200 pounds and you're sitting at around 265, that means, assuming, we'll ignore what you're doing in the gym right now. I would hope that you're lifting. If you're not, you need to start because ultimately, I'm sure you don't want to just look like a skeleton. You don't want to be super skinny. I'm sure you want to, I would imagine the goal is to look, ripped. That's the idea. You want to look good. So you're going to want a little muscle too. That's going to require resistance training. But we'll ignore that for now and just focus on diet. All right, so if you're at 265 pounds and you're looking to get towards 200, what I recommend is, for you, since it'd be 2-week cuts, we're going to take your end of the first cut week weight. We're going to say your target weight for now will be 235, and we want to get there at about 12 weeks. And if you don't get quite there, okay, fine, but you're still going to get close. All right, so 235 pounds. What I would recommend is, since I'm guessing you're male, if you're not, please tell me because the numbers do change a little bit if you're female. But if you're male and your target weight's about 235 pounds, I would say you can easily set a target calorie burn level of about 2,350 calories. Multiply it by 10. Just about. You can be a bit more conservative, say 2,300, and a bit more flexible, say 2,400, but generally you want to make that your target. Now, where do you go from there? Well, the question then becomes, okay, how much? I've got 2,350 calories as my budget. How much of that do I want to allot to protein? How much of that do I want to allot to carbohydrates? How much of that do I want to allot to fat? Alcohol, I'm going to say you can have some, but try not to binge drink because alcohol usually, the worst problem with alcohol, more than anything else, is that alcohol it prevents your liver from processing protein, which means you can't build muscle while your liver is processing alcohol, but also that, and I certainly have had my own problems with this, if you've had a drink or two, you're much more liable to go and get junk food. I certainly do. I get those drunk munchies. You know what I'm talking about if you've had lots of alcohol. If you don't drink or smoke, you just like chocolate, well then that's actually really helpful. Chocolate is very good. Chocolate is delicious, and really there are two people on this planet. People who like chocolate and people who are wrong. So I can fuck with that. I love me some chocolate. But you're best off not buying it. Whether or not you eat the junk food is a battle won at the store. So try to have your meal and then go shopping. That's a good little tip there. Anyway, so we're gonna go, let's say 2,300, 2,350 calories is your base. So how are we gonna split that up for macros? Now, if you're in good shape and if you're like, below 20% body fat, I usually say take your weight in pounds, and that's roughly the target you should be looking for grams of protein. That, however, would tell you to get 265 grams of protein in a day, and unless you like deep throating chicken breasts, that's probably not necessary. So instead, for someone who's looking to start from a little bit of a higher base, I would recommend a macro target for protein of about 0.6 times what your body weight is. So that's going to give you about 150 to 160 grams of protein. That's a lot more reasonable. You should have no trouble getting 160 grams of protein in 2,350 calories. Now, what about fat and carbs? Fat and carbs is a trade-off. You can have more fat and less carbs. You can have more carbs and less fat. Worst thing to do is go to the grocery store hungry. No, it's not. That's the second worst thing to do. The worst thing to do is go to the grocery store drunk. Disclaimer, this stream is for entertainment purposes only. Bull is not a health professional. Please consult your doctor before starting any diet. This is true. I am not a doctor, although, look, I'm in really good shape, I would like to think, or at least I'm in pretty good shape. You can see my abdominal wall. So I'm doing something right. Scadia Flavia, thank you very much for the follow, and Kuke Tedemo, thank you very much. Anyway, so as far as protein, so I'd say 2,350 calories is a start, about 160 grams of protein, and then fat and carbs can really vary. A lot of people say they have a success with the keto diet. It's not because they're avoiding carbs. The keto diet works because you're limiting your calories. However, my problem with the keto diet is very simple. It's expensive. Carbs are cheap. Pasta, potatoes, rice, beans. There's a reason lentils. There's a reason billions of people the world over use this as their primary form of sustenance. So keto can work, but just be aware, if you want a cost-efficient method of getting in shape, keto is probably not the move. Just my opinion. Vegan diets can work if you have low enough calories and high enough protein. The trouble with vegan diets is often getting enough protein within your calorie budget. There are some really amazing vegan bodybuilders and powerlifters out there, and they are on hard mode, and I have a lot of respect for them. If you're a vegan, you're living your principles, and you're in good shape, hey, hats off to you. That's hard. That's not easy, especially in parts of the United States where we don't really often have a lot of vegan options as we do down here in the South. For me, I don't really regulate per specific dietary rules like that. I'm not paleo, I'm not keto, I'm not vegan.
I'm not vegetarian. I'm not Atkins. I'm not whatever other diet you want to think of. I am try to hit my protein target, try to hit my calorie target every single day, and write it down. That's what I do. It's called, I guess, if the closest thing I'd call this to a diet plan is if it fits your macros. As long as it fits your macros to an extent. I will say, right, there are some truly wacky combinations that have some pretty bad micro nutritional effects. Obviously, use common sense here, right? A salad and one Oreo cookie have the same number of calories and about the same amount of protein, because salad is mostly greens and therefore it doesn't have a ton of protein. But the salad has a ton of micronutritional benefits and the Oreo, it doesn't. So think a little bit, use your head. Okay, everybody, y'all know what's good for you. Think about it, right? Greens, lean proteins, whole grains, a little bit of dairy, and you know what's bad for you. Overly processed crap, oil, fat, sugar. So use your common sense, try to hit your macros, and watch the results happen. Now, if you find that you've really been diligent and you've really made sure to track accurately how much you're putting into your body, and you find that you're not getting the change you're looking for there, Robbie, reevaluate. Maybe bump it down to 2,200 or 2,100 calories. Now, the other part of this, okay, so we've talked about the diet, we've talked about your basic macros. And again, come to my Discord, I will show you a whole lot more. I'm going to go ahead and put that right back in here, okay? And then we're going to talk about the other side for a moment, exercising. So, cardio can help. Cardio is a really good way to burn some calories, but you cannot use cardio to justify eating loads of junk. I've tried it. It gets tough. You will never outrun a bad diet. You can't do it. At least you certainly can't sustainably. So, where does that leave us? Well, talk about weightlifting. Now, weightlifting, or any form of resistance training, this can be with bands, this can be with body weight, all sorts of stuff like that. It's useful in the sense that is going to create little micro tears in your muscles. And then, if you supplied your body with enough protein, those micro tears will get repaired. Your liver will synthesize the protein, and your muscles will grow. All right? Okay. Nidero, welcome to the first time chat. Appreciate the first time chat, but you'll get it in time. I am a Southern man, so I do appreciate a little bit of politesse. All right, Gay Boy says, were you always slim or toned, or did it take a while to transform? Good question. In the summer of 2022, I kind of started out actually tracking my macros and writing it all down. I was around 229 pounds. I was in good shape, and I was certainly quite strong, but I didn't have any of this going on. Why did this happen? Because I started giving a damn about what I was putting into my body macronutritionally. My micronutrition had always been quite good. I love a salad. I've always loved great, greens and such. But I would eat fattier cuts of meat, I would eat higher proportions of carbohydrates, and those would create caloric surpluses that meant I wasn't as trim as I wanted to be. So I started taking it seriously. And between July of 2022 and November of 2022, I fell from 229 pounds to 200 pounds, and went from probably 18, 19-ish% body fat to around 12 to 13%. There you go. Okay, so I was born nearly 10 pounds. I've been on a diet ever since. Mom had cravings for Oreos during pregnancy and ate all she wanted. The circumstances of your birth have nothing to do with the success or failure of your own body. The first thing you have to do is take responsibility for the choices you've made that are the reason you're 5'11 and 265. It's because you've eaten things that created calorie surpluses, and that surplus was stored in extra adipose tissue and it became fat. And that's as long as you take personal responsibility, don't beat yourself up over it. That's a big part. Don't beat yourself up over it, but admit that, okay, I made some bad choices in the past. I'm going to make better ones now. It's as simple as that. Keep it emotionless, keep it stoic. All right, so now it's time for handstand push-ups, because I meant to do those earlier, but I really wanted to get through that because the diet section of this stream is something I don't always get to talk about as much, and this is a really good example. So Robbie Bear, first off, I want to say thank you for having the courage to talk about this with me, and then I'd also like to say, welcome to the channel. It's good to have someone who's kind of new to the community step up and volunteer like that. It's not always easy. You're brave for doing so. So thank you. And if anybody else in here saw me kind of break that down and give you a decent starting point, please join my Discord. It's a lot easier for me to do this, to walk you through within the Discord, just because I can write things out, and then instead of you having to recall it, you can see what I've written at any point. So strongly go with that. Echo Gamer, welcome. Thanks for the first time chat. Let's go ahead and do some handstand push-ups. Can I get some hype in chat, please? Oh, Gay Boy, wait, I missed it. I did answer your question, but no, it took a little while for me to transform. I'll answer it again quickly. Started around 229 pounds, and I've always been fairly strong, but I never got quite this toned until I started carrying a lot more and writing down what I was putting in my body. So there's your answer. Let's go ahead and get handstand push-ups. So hype up, y'all. Come on. Come on. A little motivation. Feed me here. Strong as bull. Strong like bull. Sorry, I was moving something. That's all good. It's all good. Y'all are putting out some good questions today, by the way. Handstand push-ups time. Again, if you really like what I do, if you like this content, you're gonna love the Discord. I promise you that. Oh, okay. There we go. Bring y'all in. All right. Here we go. Strong like bull. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yep. Oh, up. Balance one right. I can feel that. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yep. There we go. Much better. Not bad, huh? So I do that every time on stream, every time we hit more than 30 viewers in the chat. I will do the splits if we hit 50. I think I saw 48 is the highest. I will say, I have been lifting weights for about 15 years. Now I've gotten more serious in recent years, but a lot of my underlying strength is because I've just, for me, lifting is, the journey has become the destination. For me, weightlifting is where I get my mental reprieve. Weightlifting is where I can work out the stresses and anxieties of my day, and it's where, like, if I'm pissed off, pissed off weightlifting, oh, it's good. It's how you can vent your anger in a productive way. It's fantastic. There's lots and lots of reasons I lift, to be honest, but that's one of the biggest ones. FM, that's funny. I don't think climate change works like that, I'm afraid. If it was, I'd be doing a hell of a lot more. I mean, hell, if that was true, it'd be doubly as powerful for all the squats I do with that much weight on it. Yeah, I'm afraid that's not how it works. I get you're joking. But yeah, they don't look too bad, huh? I can also do that. Yeah, if you want to look like this, by the way, everything I'm doing here, everything y'all have seen, everything I'm showing you, all of this, okay? I don't use steroids. All of this is achievable. This right here, this comes from hard work and dedication. We'll happily talk about climate change if y'all want, though, because it's an interesting topic and it has a lot to do with the field of engineering I studied and worked in. Now, before I do that, what I was originally going to do on this stream, speaking of alcohol, was make my wine. These are fresh-picked Scuppernong grapes from my beloved state of South Carolina, both in my own backyard and in various vines around the town. I wanted today to crush them and start the winemaking process, but unfortunately I couldn't find where I left the yeast from last year, so wah wah. Gotta find the yeast. You need yeast to make wine. These are all the black variety of the Scuppernong. These are better for winemaking, but for flavor, I also like to throw in some of my favorite, the more snacking variety of the bronze grapes. Who picked the grapes? I did. I grew a large chunk of the grapes. I also picked all of these grapes. And there's probably a whole lot more. I'm probably gonna get one more big bowl like this. But yeah, so they're wonderful. If you're ever in the Carolinas, Southern Virginia, or Eastern Georgia, and you come across Scuppernongs, grab some. They're delicious. Or if you're ever around my neck of the woods, I'll give you some. I don't care. If your goal is to make wine, then today you're giving new meaning to crushing your goals. Ha! That's pretty good. I like that. That's good. Yeah, I picked the grapes though. I went out there and I got the mosquito bites to prove it too. It was 100 degrees yesterday with a real feel like 108, 109, and I was still happier to do the heat of the day picking that than I was when it had cooled off a bit. It was just down to the lower 90s, but mosquitoes had started coming out. That's the worst thing about this state. By far, the mosquitoes are extremely brutal here. They are harsh. They will bite you. They will bite you aggressively. You probably look stupid young without that mustache. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking about doing maybe a dono war about this competition, because about half of my fan base seems to love my mustache and the other half seems to hate it. So the question is going to be, do I shave it? I've thought about it. It's come across my mind a few times. Yeah, shave or save. That's exactly. So I've thought about it, but yes, one of the main reasons I did grow this in the first place was that I've definitely got a baby face. Because without this, yeah, I look like I'm 18 and I'm 28. Don't shave it, bro. See, like, that's the thing. There's a lot of people who say they want me to. That's the fun part. I need to do that. I need to set that up. I'm gonna talk to my admins about that. That'll be fun. But no, I grew the mustache originally also because, so I grow facial hair very slowly. I can't grow a beard. Like, there are just parts of my face where I do not grow facial hair. But the only reason I was able to grow this out and not have it look like absolute trash for months on end, okay, assuming you don't think it looks like absolute trash now, and I know there are those of y'all who do think that, fair enough. But the reason I was able to avoid a lot of the earlier, much more cringeworthy stages of the stash is because at my workplace, we were required to have masks through all of 2021 and through a good chunk of 2022. So it was covered up by a mask most of the day. I need to stream over 1K, tell them to do a shave or save. I've had this idea for a little while. I don't really do this for the money, to be honest. Again, the fact that I'll be able to retire before I turn 30 is kind of proof of that. It's due to my day job anyway. I don't do that, but it would be nice. It would definitely give me the money to install an air conditioner in my gym, in my garage. That would be nice. Because the problem is I have to upgrade the electrical circuit in there first before I can throw an air conditioner in there. And that's going to cost some pretty nice coin. More cringy stages than now. Yeah. Alright. I think that's gonna be about it. I'm trying to think of anything else I need to talk about. Now we're sort of in the Q&A, kind of winding down section of the stream. So if you guys have questions about what I do, my content, future streams, this would be the time to ask. There we go. There we go. Just making sure I didn't miss anybody on the follows and whatnot. There we go. We got my big tower computer here that I can much more easily watch chat than on my laptop. So I think sounds like we're more or less done here. Do we have any other questions from audience? Give you all 30 seconds. I know sometimes there's a latency period. While y'all do that, I'm gonna probably figure out who I'm going to raid. Retire at 30? Oh yeah. I've been saving about 75% of my paycheck since I graduated. So I have a friend who I see like once a year, and he's very into fitness. As much as you've described, in your breakdown for me. He goes to the gym every day at 5 a.m. You don't have to go to the gym at 5 a.m. if you don't want to, but there are people who do, especially down here in the South. It may be the only time, if your gym is on air conditioned, that it's tolerable to live in, or it's tolerable to lift in, I should say. Let's see here, 1 second. There we go. Perfect. He's offered training me, but that 5 a.m. thing is rough. I would say, so thinking about food before working out, I don't like eating a ton before working out. I try not to do it fasted anymore, especially if it's leg day, but it really is a your mileage may vary type of situation. I would say if you don't eat at least a little bit of protein before working out, you're better off doing it at you're better off not waiting too long after working out. You do want enough protein in your body when you're doing all these micro tears, so that way your muscles can grow. Your liver has to have protein accessible, so that way it can help repair the muscles, right? That's the idea. But if he's offering training to you for free, man, it might be worth getting up and doing that. You've got to decide for yourself how bad you want it, really. Hey, Robbie, thank you very much for the follow. I do appreciate that. Worst case, if you don't want that kind of training, you can always stick around here and definitely, again, check out my Discord. You'll get all the advice you need to make the changes yourself. The training really only works if you need someone, in person coaching you through it. And that's something only you can figure out. Sorry. There we go. Had to do that. So, do we have any further questions? Tomo, if you're looking on how to retire by 30, I can kind of explain that again. I did earlier, but I think it might help me with my life getting up early and getting the day started anyway. Well, I will say if you stay up late at present, definitely try to adjust your sleep. Try to adjust when you're going to sleep a little bit, because there's nothing worse. The only thing worse than a 5 a.m. workout is a 5 a.m. workout where you did not get enough sleep the night before. So, if you're going to get up and be at the gym at 5 in the morning, it means you probably got to get up at 4:30, which means you can't be going to bed any later than about 9. Again, that's something you've got to figure out for yourself as to whether or not you actually want to do. That's up to you. As far as I'll check my phone. I can give you an exact percentage point right now as to where I'm at on the pathway to financial independence. I'm at 76% of the way there. Not bad. Hitting my first retirement in less than 8 years, so congratulations. Right now, I think I'm a touch under 2 years away from that. And I will say, just because I can retire at 30 doesn't necessarily mean I will, I should say. It's just I can have the option to do so. Let's see. Oh yeah, TomoFit streams are great, but not financially independent. Ah, okay, so that's interesting. So you're gonna do, it'll be a temporary retirement then. That must be what you're talking about. Yeah, see, I want financial independence more than I actually want retirement. I don't hate my job, but what I want is I want the ability to say "fuck you, I'm out" if it so necessarily requires it. I want that power. LSKSK, welcome. Thanks for the first time chat. Howdy. And it may well be that I end up going a different route. It may end up being that I continue working at my job. It may end up being that I cut my hours. It may end up being that I retire completely and do streaming full time for a living. It may end up being that I retire and try van lifing or something like that. Really could be any number of paths forward at this point. I don't know. That's sort of the fun part. But almost all of them really are some pretty awesome pathways forward. So no matter what happens, I'm in control. I'm in power, and I have the ability to say no. I don't want to do that at any given time. All I got to do is continue stacking. Really, it's just this is the waiting, right? This is the time before things get really fun. So what I've chosen to do really is sacrifice a large part of my 20s to save a large part of my paycheck. So that way my 30s, 40s, and beyond are going to be a whole lot more free than anyone else. And you're both, I'm active duty military, so I'm not trying to stay here forever. Well, thank you very much for your service. My father served in the Air Force for almost 30 years. I work quite closely with defense. I don't know if you guys know what I do for a living. I can talk about that to an extent if y'all are curious, but that's really up to y'all. Man, you are buff. I appreciate that. I do work pretty hard on my body. It's all about dedication, but anybody could get this. I do genuinely believe that. Another first-time chat. Man, we got loads of first-time people in here. That always makes me happy. Eyes do. Welcome on in. Thank you very much for the first-time chat. Welcome to the bullpen. How am I? Doing pretty well. We cooked ourselves a nice little pot of spaghetti sauce back there in the kitchen. Talked through some basic diet and exercise plans for some people wondering about it. Showed off my wine grapes already. Unfortunately, I don't have the yeast. Otherwise, I'd start crushing the grapes to make wine on stream. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back at work. Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll be back at work, and then Thursday afternoon, I'll be live on streaming. And it'll probably be some sort of game, either Capra, I forget what it was that horror game you wanted to show me, or old school RuneScape again. I'm not sure which. I would need to put weight on. Twitch recommended this channel to me. I do watch some fitness streamers. Well, fantastic. Hey, Tavwal1, thank you very much for the follow as well. Appreciate it, and welcome to the bullpen. Welcome on in, everybody. Yes, so if you want more content in between now and Thursday when I stream next, please check out that Discord. Thank you very much, Firewolf, for putting it in chat. There's lots and lots of really good content on the Discord server. I like to think the way I've made the server that there's something for everybody. Hopefully you find what you're looking for. Anyway, I think that's really about it. So I'm going to have to figure out who I want to raid is the question. Haven't done a workout in over a year? Well, sounds like you should fix that. Let's see. Diazon? Diabolic? Yeah, he's alright. I might raid him. I got Typical Yan, Physico. Rainbow the Pandamancer's on. I feel like I could go raid him. I haven't done that in a while. Bam Bam Bim Bim's on. Typical Yan, Physico Commando, and Rainbow are the ones I've got on. Diabolic's recommended for me, but I'll be honest. I don't really appreciate it, like, when I raid someone and I get completely ignored. And last time I did that for Diabolic, that's what he did. So, not really too keen to do that. Want to because of my health struggle? Well, I will say, okay, one of the things I was doing early in this stream was doing just basic ab workouts on the floor. In general, you should be able to do those no matter what your health conditions are. You should be able to do some basic ab exercises. Things like, V-sits, bicycle sit-ups, Russian twists, stuff like that. 6 inches is another really good one. That's about the most simple exercise in the world. You lay down on the ground, you put your heels off the ground by 6 inches, you keep your knees unbent, and you just hold it. And you'll feel it in your abs if you hold it for long enough. Another good one is the wall sit. Again, really simple. All you gotta do is sit on the wall. That's it. It affects my joints majorly. Okay, so joint pain is an issue for you, and knee pain in particular is an issue for you. Swimming is a really good option. Swimming is a very, very low impact exercise, but it's still extremely good for your body. So I would say if you've got knee pain in particular, swimming's a really good way to go. The other thing is if you've got knee pain, and I'm not trying to presume because you haven't stated, but if you've got knee pain and you find that you are overweight, losing weight can often alleviate a lot of those knee pain issues. This isn't always the case. This isn't always the reason people have knee pain, but it is correlated. Another good one for lower impact exercise for knees is cycling. The other one too is, if your knees are giving you the worst problems, you can still do things like bench press, shoulder press, bicep curls, pull-ups, all of that jazz. You may not be able to do as heavy a squat, leg press, or deadlift, but just because your knees are hurting you doesn't mean you shouldn't check everything else out. That would be my recommendation. The other thing is sometimes you got to push through the pain. Understand I have no weight to me. Okay, well in that case, ignore the lose weight part. Again, that's just something I found that tends to be a fairly common indicator. A lot of people who have issues with their knees, especially as you get later in life, into your 30s, 40s, and beyond, a lot of those people tend to be those who have, could lose 10 to 20 pounds with no issue. And it makes sense if you think about it, right? What are your knees primarily functioning to do? Well, your knee bends. It's a unit. It does one thing. It'll bend. It can bend in and it can bend out. It's not like a shoulder where you can rotate it, manipulate it in 3D space as easily. A knee kind of it's a hinge, right? It's a hinge. So the knee, the more compressive load you put on it often can be problematic. However, you may often find that if you start working your legs, you start doing squats, you may find that your knees respond a little bit better to it. Varies person to person on this one. So if you're fit before diagnosed with your condition, so if it's a medical condition, ignore that last sentence. Maybe not doing squats is the move. Really kind of is up to you at that point. I would consult with your doctor. I'm not a medical expert on that one. But definitely don't resign yourself to a life of being sedentary if in any way you can avoid it. I'm trying to think about how to word this properly. There we go. All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and raid someone. I gotta figure out who though. I think I've got the perfect way to figure it out too. It's my automatic decision-making machine. The goal really is to move and be active. Tomo, you put that correctly. So swimming would probably help you with that. Things just fall into place after that. That's true. So we're gonna use my automatic handy dandy automatic decision-making machine to figure out who it is we're going to raid. I raided Bam Bam recently. Rated Typical Yan recently. I think it's either going to be Rainbow the Pandamancer or Physico Commando. So we're going to use our automatic decision-making machine. As you can see, it gives you a binary of choices. Yes, in theory, it could land on its on its edge. If it does that, I'm going to, I don't know, spin on my head or something. It's not going to. All right, so here we go. Let's go heads for Physico Commando, tails for Rainbow the Pandamancer. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, flip. It's tails. Rainbow it is. All right. Before we head out, any last questions? If not, I hope to see you all on the Discord. I loved all the new followers, new chatters today. I've really enjoyed that. Sometimes you get days where you don't have a very active chat, and the active chat just makes it more fun, if you ask me. So I want to say thank you to Tavois1, Robbie Bear, Kuka de Demel, Scadia Flavia, 1600 PST, Mr. Potatoes, Liminal. Liminal must have been a refollow. Welcome back. Egodric, Poohbearism, Gurney, CHQ, and Leroy Crash. And TomoFit, thank you very much for sticking around too. Again, if y'all, I'm going to give you a second shout out because I love it when I have other streamers come in. That shit's always dope. So, oh, I guess I still have to wait 18 more minutes if I want to give you another shout out. Sorry, can't do it again. Hey, I tried. Let's go ahead and raid Rainbow the Pandamancer. So, looks like he's playing, I don't know, it's some sort of game. I'm going to say the raid message is Bull Rush. There we go. All right, raid the... There we go. Rainbow the Pandamancer. We are going to raid you. Perfect. All right. So, thank you all, everybody, for coming out. Just want to say I will be live again Thursday afternoon. That's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out the Discord if you guys want more content in the meantime. Otherwise, as always, y'all make good decisions. Those good decisions form habits. Those habits form values. Those values form an ethos. That ethos can be the guide star that gets you through the rough waters of life. This has been BullMuscle. Come in for the hug, y'all. All right. Good to see you as always, YouTube. Peace out.